Hello, welcome back. Last time I got kinda stuck in the no-caber version of this room. I tried a lot of stuff, and learned some things about like tucking an alt-click into a corner. Still kinda curious about making that work. I think I know how to do it, but that's unrelated to anything that's going on here, I'm pretty sure. So let's look at this from the beginning and just recheck all assumptions, because that's what you do when you have a bunch of dead ends and don't know which way leads to the solution. So the problems I was having last time were mostly how to hold these plates down. Let's start with, do I have to hold down these plates? Things that interact with these doors are just that orb and those plates. Those are the only ones. This orb also opens that. So yes, by the way, it is necessary to hit this orb to exit the room unless there's another exit. Those are good questions to ask. Asked and answered. That is the only exit, and that's the only way out. Okay. So I do still have to use this orb. I don't have to drop trapdoors because there are broken walls here. Now I can drop some trapdoors. I can drop all the trapdoors. I just don't have to. So I don't have a caber. Let's not worry about what I can't do. First I should worry about what I can do. And what I must do. I must use this orb to open this door. I must kill all the monsters. To use this orb, this is all pit. I don't have a pushing tool in this version, so there's definitely no way I can push something onto this pit and have it hit that. I think I see a sneaky cheat though. Like in the caber version of this, I'll bet if you were crafty enough, you could stand here with your caber northwest, have the guard here with his sword southeast, because that's totally a situation you could get into, and push him onto this pit, have his sword hit that orb, and skip this entire bit of this. Because yeah, I mean, you can just step on that to open all that stuff. You could break this orb and not care about it because you wouldn't be going in there. Would you kill the Ontlik? I mean, maybe. Actually, that might be the one thing you couldn't do. Maybe that Nah, stop it. Again, I'm solving a puzzle that's not here. Stop it. Focus. Focus. So all of these have to be open on the way in. Then they'll get closed, so they have to open themselves again on the way out, right? Am I observing that correctly? I'm going inside out. So this is the end. Means I have to be here. Means I have to have this open, and this open. This one's unnecessary. Also, this should not be on, so just don't interact with that orb. Or if you do interact with it, have an Ontlik look at it first. Not the easiest thing to do, but probably possible. So shallow water prevents Ontlik traversal, but hot tiles don't. They can come out of there and potentially back in if they had to. Actually, I'm not so sure about the back in part. No, okay, so this is a new and meaningful observation based on what I was doing before, where I was pulling an Ontlik out to do stuff with it. I can't load one back in, because to get one back in, so right, an Ontlik will do semi-adaptive sidestepping, kind of like a construct. So if I'm in like say an Ontlik is here, and I'm in this wedge, then they will use horizontal preference to get to me rather than vertical. However, they're not like a goblin where they'll try to do like a true sidestep if they think it'll get them closer. Like if I'm here in this wedge, unless I'm actually in this row, an Ontlik on this hot tile would never step north off of it. Well, no, that's false. I mean, I guess, no, what I'm saying is like one would never have a reason to step on the hot tile in the first place. Or like if I'm down here it would, sure. But then I can't get it off. Anyway, so it would get hung up on the hot tile. There is no reinserting an Ontlik in here after it has been taken out. Okay, so I said I wouldn't focus on what I can't do, but that is potentially meaningful. So who goes on these plates is still my main question. This is obviously a guard. Now hold on. Is it? Could it be a powder keg? I don't think so, because I really only get one in this area, unless I shatter this orb with like an Omplic beam, which might be possible. That's totally possible, but I would have to bring him past this barrier. Yeah, there isn't a diagonal look vector here that's viable. This one would be if I could eliminate this powder keg, but I can't. So to have an Omplic look at that orb, it would probably have to like come out of here, or out of here and look south. But that would not enable me to get this keg in there because the geometry doesn't work. Ortho square would have to push it into a corner, have no leverage for pushing it out of that corner. Okay, so that is another thing I cannot do. I cannot put a keg here and one here and have them blow themselves up and clear the plate off, because I only get the one keg. These are inaccessible for any eastward moves. I can move them north and south a little bit. These were not involved in the Caber solution, at least the way I did it. Maybe that's just because of the way I did it. I can't imagine how they could be involved in the sword solution, though. It just doesn't seem like that would be a thing. Okay, so anyway, question remains. Right, that was all speculation based on, does a guard actually go here? I think so. I guess it could be a rock golem. So who goes here and here? Should be Omplic, probably. I cannot access the thing that opens those from over here, can I? Well, that's a complicated question to answer. Ways to blow up this bomb. 1. Stab it. That's the only one. Only one I see. Or 2. Stab another explosive in its area. Does that change anything? Could I use this keg to blow up this bomb while standing on this door? No, hang on. This would have to be cleared off. Which I could do with this tunnel, couldn't I? Go through the tunnel to get the goblin to step off of there, but then I wouldn't be on the door. No, goblin would have to step off while I'm actually on the door for that to work. This force arrow doesn't protect me from explosions from that way. Can't have this close while I'm on it. Okay, so I think I've determined I cannot blow up this bomb. That doesn't feel as conclusive as I'd like, but it seems pretty solid. Okay, what other useful observations can I make? What can go on this plate? Okay, what are the rules for something that goes on this plate? Stay there until I use this orb, then get off. Right? Am I sure those are the exact requirements? Technically, no. Technically, it could totally be wander onto this plate at the appropriate time, so I step across that, let it close, wander onto this plate like 2 turns later, then step off it. So they don't have to stay there. They could be in transit while I'm going in here. Alright, there's some potential for that. They would have to be desynced though. Like this one would have to be slower than this one for that to work. Okay, but at some point, these have to be pressed while I'm going in. At some point, they have to be unpressed while I'm going out, because that toggles all those. I do have to use it. It is cracked, so I can't reuse it. There's no broken walls for skipping that. There's no other escape mechanism, so yes. Those rules hold, although with a slightly different implication that I don't necessarily have to keep something here for more than 1 turn, if my timing's good. So ways to put... okay, things that can go on these plates. I believe it is just Live rot golem, dead rot golem, Ontlik. Powder keg can't make it in. I have only one, which could bridge over the shallow water. Oh, so that's a way that I could get the Ontlik out and back in. Bridge over the shallow water. Okay, so that possibility is now opened back up, if I want to sacrifice this keg for that. There's a lot going on in this room, by the way. It's not a criticism, it's this style of puzzle. Many things. I have to figure out which things I can ignore so that I'm able to see the things that are actually relevant to the solution. Or, alternatively, I could go look at my old demo, but let's not do that. That's no fun. Why would I ruin the game for myself? Okay, so live golem, dead golem, both of those things will never clear off of here while I'm in this area. There is no interaction that I see anywhere in here that would cause that to happen. Like, there's nothing else to attract them. They can never slide here. There's no brain in the room, so they can't, like, path to me, and I'm isolated in here anyway. Some very outside potential for, like, the guard to stab them, but that doesn't remove them from the tile. Ontlik can't do a thing about them, so yeah. I mean, it's the obvious ones. One of each of these goes here and here. Now I determined that I can't get a golem dead here without actually stepping on this, as far as I could tell at least. So I could clog up this space while releasing the Ontlik. There's no reason these can't be pressed early, so I can do stuff in here to get them pressed. Could I keep a guard from turning his sword away from having it on this tile without blocking these ways? I think the answer is no. Because without any kind of explosive blockage here, he would have no reason to ever think he's unable to turn to the northeast. So, and if I'm going to be interacting with things in this area, the guard will not sit there and face east. He would have no reason to ever do that. Either of those things, really. He would face north and not sit here. So doing the whole Ontlik beam, reflected on guard sword thing, at the very least seems like something I can't set up while I'm here and here. Problem is, it also seems like I can't set it up from elsewhere. What about... Now hold up. No, that doesn't work. I was thinking something like... These are mysterious. They seem like they must have a purpose. There's no parallel down here, though, so this has to go some different way. I wonder, what if... This is pure, just like out of the blue speculation, but what if these do something important for Ontlik manipulation, and the final resting place of these two is supposed to be here and here? What could these be important for, though? They seem more like golem manipulation posts than anything, implying I would want to bring a rot golem in here. Okay, so let's look at affordances. What does this room let me do with a sword that I can't do with a caber? This is a big obvious thing. These big broken walls here. Already observed this plenty. And this orb. If I take it as a given that every mechanism in the room has a purpose, which is not a safe assumption, because the reason that's not a safe assumption is if I did something unintended on the caber route that didn't involve some mechanism, I can't assume that every mechanism that was not involved in the caber route is involved in the sword route, just because of the existence of multiple solutions. Like, there could be multiple possible caber solutions that both involve and don't involve an element, and I did one that didn't involve it. And there could be sword solutions that no sword solutions that involve that element. So that's why I cannot take that as a given. Okay. So what else? Anyway, affordances, right. So there's this, there's being able to retrieve the keg. So retrieve the... I could break this. I think this is just so the bomb explosion will go through to there. I don't think it has any greater purpose. Already observed that this appears to be for getting an Omtlik stuck in there. Goblin can't. Can he? I don't think so. Things that can go in here. Goblin, easily. Omtlik, with some difficulty. Guard? I don't think so. That's a pretty tall order. Like, guards can go through shallow water, so I'm not unbrained if I step in this, well, especially because this exists. If I'm unbraining over here in this section, then he's not going to have any reason to go north. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that at the very least it's very impractical to get a guard in here, and I don't think that's involved in the solution. Because to get him to step on a force arrow, he has to be unbrained. To get him unbrained, I have to be in a region of this room that's not... Yeah, so I could imagine, like... Okay, yeah, I can imagine how I would do that. So let's say, just for the sake of argument, I had a guard right in... Now, does a guard do adaptive preference? Like, do they change from horizontal to vertical if... stuff? Okay, well, let's say I had a guard here. Well, that's not a good... Okay, so if he's... He definitely can't be any further south than this if I want him to do that behavior. So I'd go... He would start taking steps. And he would prefer orthogonal steps, wouldn't he? Anyway, so it'd be hard to keep him in place there. But I could maybe get in here, keeping him turning his sword without him taking so many steps that he gets past this column. So say I would do that. Then I had dropped this trapdoor and parked a golem right here. So I'd get to this column, keep having the guard turn his sword, also have killed a golem there. Golem would step on this, closing that door, allowing the guard to slide in here, go across the force arrow, and then slide down there and open that for me. That accomplishes absolutely nothing useful because once he's on this, there's no getting him off it, because the guard doesn't do a backstep. Okay, but it might be possible with the room geometry. Again, inventing new puzzles, where that has nothing to do with solving this. So yes, guard may be possible with some extreme difficulty. Omtlik, definitely possible with some moderate difficulty. I have done it. Goblin, easily possible. Rock Golem, definitely impossible. There is no way whatsoever with this room geometry you could put a Rock Golem in here, unless you had a caber. But I don't. So, do I need a goblin on this plate? So this is a mechanism I didn't really use. Well, this is a mechanism I couldn't use during the caber route. The presence of this broken wall means that it doesn't mean that it couldn't have been involved with the caber route, because you could maybe... No, you can't retrieve this. You can't meaningfully do anything with, like, bringing these kegs out. No, you could not have blown this up on the caber route. So yeah, this is definitely supposed to be a sword route thing. But am I going to just look for a purpose for it? I'd rather not solve the puzzle that way. I'd rather decide what I require If what I require happens to involve this, then I'll use it. If it doesn't, then I'll ignore it. So, really have to focus on this. So potential ways for something to... an Omtlik, specifically. Oh, hold on, Goblin. Goblins... do they go in shallow water? I forgot. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Yeah. We saw that in this room. Goblins do not go in shallow water, so that's proof right on this level. This game has so many rules, it's hard to keep them all straight. So again, focus. Focus on this problem. This is what needs to be solved. I can give an Omtlik a slidey... These can't reclose, so no more re-imprisoning them. I can give an Omtlik a slidey spot here by killing a golem there. That does involve releasing the Omtlik and some tricky golem manipulation here. That also cannot be done the same down here because I don't have these manipulation poles. At least I don't think it can. It seemed less friendly. This is shallow water. What could be interesting about... No, don't look for a way to use this. Look for what you need. And if this is useful, then yeah, right. Just gotta get my solving polarity correct. Find a solution to the problem, don't find a problem to the solution. So, solution to this problem. The best one still looks like Omtlik looking at Guard Sword while it's there. Can I deduce that I cannot do that? Ways to make a guard stand here with his sword this way. Or anywhere in this column, really, with his sword that way, or anywhere in this column with his sword this way. Although that might mess things up. I mean, okay, now hang on. Let's also involve this, because this also has to be held for a time, then released on the way out. Ways to do that are to put literally anything here. A golem corpse would be fine. And a powder keg there to blow it up later. So that frees up the guard to be elsewhere. If I want to reflect two beams, with one sword it has to be orthogonal. Also, there are no diagonal look directions to the south from, or the north from here. So yeah, it has to be orthogonal. Omtlik beams are stopped by golem rubble. Also live golems, also any monster. Also powder kegs. There are no mirrors in the room. The only reflective surfaces are this one and this one. This one's definitely unusable because I can't stand here while solving the puzzle. My sword could be here for a time if I had to wait for the guard to catch up with me in this spot. Okay. But these will be released early. I have to step on these to get them out. That is required. Because I cannot blow up this bomb. If I could blow up this bomb, it would change so many things, but this really seems to be the essential difference between the caber and sword routes. So hang on, let's go through this one more time, with an eye toward, like, what monsters I could put in there. The requirement for blowing up this bomb with a sword is to be standing on one of these doors while this becomes clear. There is no way to do that. I am quite convinced of that. I cannot stand on these doors and have a monster step off this plate. Yeah, no, that is not a thing that can happen. So I will not be blowing up this bomb. Okay. So I must step on these plates in order to release the Omplic. If I just do that... If I just do that... where do they end up exactly? Is my question. Let's see, how was... I had a better plan with these at one point. I think it involved that, probably. Oh, well, Goblin, come to me. There. So Goblin is for opening these. Like, once I actually decide to do something, taking actions in this room is not terribly hard. It's set up nicely for that, I just don't know what to do yet. Okay, so with access to this... If I release you and then just, like, leave real quick. Shallow water lets me stealth for a bit. You end up there, which is relatively safe. Okay, yeah, so Omplic does not do this kind of sidestep. You have to get all the way up there. You are now facing east, and you're gonna sidestep to that. If instead I did it like this, you'd make it all the way through there. If I had a rock golem corpse here, then you would have no way to get off that plate while I'm in here. So right, that is a way that I can get the Omplic on there and then leave. Okay, let's try this. So that might be important there. That might be the key to everything right there, actually. That's definitely it. Omplic stalled here. Use a golem to create a similar post here. Stall that one there. Then set up the guard thing, right? I think that's what it is. I can do that and sit there for a little bit while the guard catches up. Okay, I think that has great potential. So let's assume that's where the rock golems are going. And not just assume, let's actually put them there. You're both being such pests. It's fine, I'll go around. You're fine where you are, I guess. You're not. Okay, you know what, let's not release that yet. Let me first deal with this. In fact, let me, let's just do this differently. Goblin, you stay in here. I'll get you later. No, I need you now. I do need you now because this has to be open for that. Okay, but I think I have a solution now, maybe? It seems plausible, at least. And I don't have to cross over the golem column to make this happen. Alright. So I would want something like... I'd rather be more exact than that. I don't like that that was a little bit off. And that's what this other post is for. I see. So this other suggested post position is so that I can get that one to do something in here, so I can get it to that exact spot. Not sure why that exact spot is important, but let's assume for now that it is. That's not what I want. Let's see, actually, that's not as convenient as it could be, because this doesn't let me do stuff. If I go the other way that I can go, like this, is it better? No. No, that puts you away from that there. Okay, so maybe that's not what I'm doing. What about if I would... bring you like that involves doing that. Let's not. No, none of that works. This doesn't quite, because I get disarmed here. The position where I would want you is where Bithro is standing, in theory. See, I don't know why I would want that position. Let's just assume I don't need it there. And that this would be good enough. I don't see why that would not be good enough. That seems like it's fine. And do you have a purpose? I'm gonna say no for now. Do I have a guard brain problem? Because before I had to tuck these into those spots to break braining for the guard. Those are there on purpose. But this will be closed while I'm in there. Will it? Not immediately. Well, okay, so hang on. I'm ready to arm the Omtlik trap, right? No, I have to do something with the guard first. What's that something? Well, hang on. No, I still have... So if I still have one golem dude, then he can probably go here. He can definitely go here. And this powder keg, no, the powder keg has a job right here. But that goblin won't be standing there right away. So isn't this still fine? Okay, so anyway, keg goes here, as before. These drop. I don't have to drop all the well, right, I can't drop these. I mean, that's unnecessary, just leave those there. They're convenient. So I will be... doing what exactly? I'm gonna, like, enter here, do this, do that, have my sword this way. Now that doesn't seem right. Maybe it is, though. Okay, well anyway, so I think this is as set up as it needs to be for at least trying. Arming the Omtlik mechanism. So that one's armed. Ooh, don't do that. And I disarmed it. Ooh. Can I rearm it without getting you out of there? No. Okay, so maybe you, since you were actually useless there, maybe you want to go there. That changes things. But maybe it's okay? Alright, so my thinking... Let's try this. You will still totally come out of that spot when I step here, so I will get both of them, and it's fine. Okay. So arm this. Stop that. Arm this way. I'm gonna do something with that guard. What's that something? Oh, hang on. Goblin just stays there the whole time. Which means these are open. Oh, but it means this is all closed, so yeah, he won't... Hold up, this bomb's still here. So I do need the goblin there. Okay, so I have guard problems here, don't I? Don't know about that orb yet. I can't shove this far enough north to do anything with that, not without stepping on the force arrow. Ah! Oh shoot, okay, so if I do anything there, I disarm that. But I mean, that's kind of the idea. Okay, so if I were facing north, and I did this, just watch what happens. would have to wait here. Yeah, okay, I have many, many, many problems. 1, these are desynchronized. 2, this was not in time. 3... there was a 3rd, I forgot it now though. Yeah, so I would have to make a wait move here. Yeah, so if my sword is not north, then I get stunned there. Guard doesn't arrive in time. And nothing's any good. Oh yeah, and I didn't even wait there, so you're not there. Okay, that's not as good as I hoped. I still have this guy that I haven't used. He might end up being relevant in braining, like if I actually wanted this here and then this... still neither of those places is possible. Never mind. Also, this has to be open. Well, nothing was good about that. At least I attempted something. Okay, can I modify this and make it work? So problems. I do kind of need that in the same place here so that these are synchronized. That's actually sort of important because they have to arrive and get stunned here on the same equivalent turn because they both have to be on the plate. So in order to initiate all this, I would not walk in here, I would use the tunnel. But as soon as I step here, they would leave their hideouts. As soon as I step here, they'd be in this column. As soon as I'd step here, they'd be both beaming me. Maybe I can get somebody else to step on that somehow? Who? There's no one else who can come in here, unless I break this orb, which I can't do. If I step this early... Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna have to have a guard roaming around here. Which might be okay, actually. Okay, so guard roaming around there. Alright, so let's try this again. This whole situation. Does this improve matters? I don't think so. No, I really don't think so. Because that does nothing good. Yeah, I really need that horizontal distance. If I do this, the Omtlik gets out. I guess I can manipulate both at once. And like do something super crazy messy, like use an Omtlik as a golem obstacle. which is nowhere near as impossible as it sounds. That's extremely doable. However, I don't know that I can do the next step of this. No. So hang on, did I have a plan for you, or can I use you as an assistive device for this? Because I don't have to put it exactly there. I could pick a different, more convenient spot. In fact, I know exactly the sort of place I would choose. I think that's just a suggestion. I don't have to actually take the suggestion. I would choose someplace like this. Then stick you there, then be able to stick you here. Okay, that doesn't get in the way of anything. So, arm the Omplic trap. Hold on. Arming this one... Oh, right. The whole problem with doing that is that I can't arm this one the same way, can I? And I can't rearm the one... What about with shallow water? Actually, if I use the shallow water... Maybe something meaningful can happen here. Like what exactly? Nothing meaningful can happen here. You already stepped there and you're gonna die in the hot tile. Yeah, okay, so no. That's not viable. Could I park you there instead? No. But I could, like, create an equivalent parking space up here. No, I can't get it there. Hold on. Is this even viable before I think about, like, Omplic and Golem geometry? Like, assuming I could get Omplic here, be over here, how would I interact with the guard? I would have already released him, for one thing. Okay, so maybe I can do a stun to keep one in place. No, the guard won't hold still. So right, I would already have released the guard. My name is Beethrow. It feels like it's meaningful that these close. What that means, yeah, okay, so I only have to step into this column once. So I can spend one of those. Have the goblin move. Guard. What a rude person. Why would he do such a thing? So I'll spend one of those. Hold on, not like that. Get the guard to come as close to me as I can get him. Move goblin quickly. That wasn't quick enough, but I can move the guard around. Okay, so he's locked there. He's gonna want to hit that orb. Please don't. He's really gonna want to hit that orb. Guard. No. Guard. No. Guard. Why? Let me make south look more appealing to you. Oh, wait. So south looks more appealing, right? Okay, good. Goblin does that. Cool. That goblin's gonna get back on here and rebrain... Oh. Oh, I can't get in there anymore. Okay, so by the time I step on this, I better be done with my work up here. Great. Unless I can figure out how to pull off the magic with this, but I can't. Close range goblin. Does that have any meaning? No. Is this a toggle or a... It is a toggle. There just isn't a situation where I'd want to prevent the goblin from entering this, only from exiting, but I still can't get to that orb. And this remains impossible then. Because of that, right? The idea of, at least, the idea of trapping the goblin in there remains impossible without any extra assistance. Okay. So I can't step on this plate and release the guard early. Does that kill this solution then? Because if I can't have... these have to have a purpose. You do not put asymmetric geometry here like this and like this so conspicuously without them having a purpose. Like that's why I'm trying so hard at this, because like these have to have a purpose. The only possible purpose these could have is either as golem obstacles or as Omplic obstacles. And the one useful way to use one as an Omplic obstacle is what I've observed here. Like getting this dude over here. Like that's the only thing that can possibly be for. I have no reason to bring a golem in here unless I'm doing this sort of thing. But then I have that problem. You step there. I can't save you from the hot tile. You just die. If I'm quicker somehow, can I? Was that absolutely the best I could have done? No. Yes. I mean, by this time, you're getting on that hot tile. Like, I'm just not getting to that tunnel in time. Even if I got to that tunnel in time, it's not like I can walk from here to here without you sizzling yourself on that. So no, the fact that I have to step into this column and disarm my golem Omplic trap means this just doesn't work. Okay, this is a non-viable solution because of that. No, I'm not looking at a demo. No, I'm going to figure this out. That's what's happening. I insist. So, what's missing? What's missing is a way to synchronize these Omplic, put them both on there. This looked like a good way until the problem where arming one disarms the other. Is there another way, like without stepping into this column, that I could get one here? If someone else stepped there, like, hey, what about you? No, you have a job. You have to open that. I can't get anywhere in the room without that, and I can't pull you back out. Neither of these guys would step ahead of me there. Don't be so sure. Okay, so what about that? How would that happen? The idea being that I could park one here, then step into this row to start it moving that way, step up here to get it there, pull it out like that, have this pressed and then cleared without ever having stepped west of here. Okay. So let's imagine I could do that. I still have the problem where I can't press this early. And if I press it later, they come out there, they come back, they stun me. And I have to have this channel open if they want to look at the guard sword. Man, how did I find this many more long roads that lead to a dead end? when I already spent that much time last time doing that. Boy, this is, yeah, this is something. This experience is reminding me strongly of, so I'm watching another Steven Sausage Roll LP right now. I know I did my own like a couple of years ago. One particular puzzle, the notorious Cold Frustration, is very much like this. There's one specific observation you have to make up front that's easy to miss. If you miss it, the puzzle has like so many things to experiment with and play with that look like they might eventually lead to a solution, but all of them fall just a little bit short. That's exactly what I'm experiencing here. Like the parallels are kind of uncanny. Although I've done this before somehow, once. How did I do it? I'm not looking at my demo yet. If I spend another entire session on this and still am at a dead end, then I will, but I'm not ready to yet. Nope. This is the authentic experience of trying to do this challenge in this room. I expected this sort of thing in way more rooms here, like it's down to the last 4, and this is the first time this has happened this way. Alright, so, maybe I'll go to another room next time. Let's do that. Yeah, I'll leave this and try this one, I guess, then come back to this with different concepts in mind from learning something from someplace else, just so I'm not, like, sitting here forever. Because, you know, I'm not stuck here. I have 3 other things I can work on. So let's do that. Okay, that's a plan. And that's what happened. This is the experience. I am capturing it in its entirety. See you next time for more of The Experience.